Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Great to be here. Obviously, we're sitting here at 3-3. I'll just talk a little bit about the tight ends group and the fullback group. Our guys have been playing well, but we got to continue to get improve and get better. I think Sam's having a good year. He's doing a lot of great things for us. Also in the run game and also in the passing game. Luke Lachey is a guy that have came a long way. He's continuously developing. I think at the fullback position, Monty Potterbaum has given us a really good effort and looks on special teams and making plays. But also, as a group and a whole, we got to continue to get better. There's a great opportunity this week versus Ohio State. Really good football team, really good defense that guys are working hard and excited to play.
All right, so anyone who has a question, please raise your hand. We'll go with John Steppe. Go ahead, John.
Hi, Abdul. How are you?
How you doing, John?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How much has Luke's emergence helped with maybe keeping defenses honest and not keying so much up on Sam?
It's helped tremendously. If you look at the first couple of games when we was limited at certain positions and had to kind of rely on more of the tight ends getting opportunities to be on the field at the same time, two tight ends. What that did was obviously you saw a lot of double teams, especially from Sam. And then as you saw the tight end position getting healthy and guys getting back on the field, that kind of opened stuff up so guys can get a little bit more one-on-one instead of being double covered or bracketed. And so what you've seen in the last couple of weeks, guys have been able to create one-on-one matchups, guys like Sam versus Illinois, and he's been able to win those one-on-one matchups. Now you have a guy like Luke stepping up and continuously improving and getting better. Well, now that's two threats at the tight end position. That's going to give, our offense and, just flexibility to be really good in the run game and have a really good opportunity to get them open in the passing game. So really good, every time you can have two really good tight ends, and especially in this type of system, it's going to really help and benefit the offense.
Scott Doxman, go ahead.
Yeah, Abdul, I wanted to ask you about kind of the versatility that Sam brings because he's had to play. It seems like an X receiver at times.
Mm-hmm.
He also lines up in the backfield, does some wham blocks, and how has he grown in that area, and how valuable is he to the offense as a whole?
I think his flexibility is important, because obviously he's really good in the passing game. But when you look at it, we can be in 11 personnel, one back, one tight end on the field, but still have a lot of the same runs, with being a fullback. So he can still lead on linebackers. He can still seal the backside. So when 11 personnel is in the game, we can have a lot of the same runs. And then we can get into our 12 personnel, where we bring two tight ends on the field, and really that 12 personnel can play similar like 21. So he gives us a lot of versatility, and he's really good in the passing game, but he's really also a really good run blocker, and he can lead on linebackers and he can seal the backside. So I think he does a really great job for us. And as a play caller, when you have those two guys on the field, you can open it up and play like you have in four receivers, or you can, tighten it up a little bit and run the ball like you have in two backs in the backfield and one tight end. So having Sam to have that versatility in the run game and also in the passing game gives us a lot of flexibility, especially from a play caller perspective.
Kennington Smith.
Morning, Coach. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Know that you have two established tight ends right now that are playing, but I want to ask you about some of the younger guys in the room, like Addison and Kale. What's
Mm-hmm.
allowed Addison to get a role on special teams and develop that way? And just what have you seen from Kale day to day as well?
We'll start from Addison. From day one that those guys showed up in the summer. Addison is a guy that's been hitting the ground running. He's been very physical running. He got really great speed, but more importantly, his attention to detail is really good. He's probably a little bit, in terms of his maturity, probably a lot more mature from what you'll get from a guy coming straight out of high school. Also, you can put a lot on his plate. He understands our system. He understands what we're trying to get accomplished, and he's just a tough, eager kid that want to learn and grow on a continued basis. Kale is the same way. Kale came in. Obviously, we probably going to redshirt Kale, but he's hitting the ground running. He's getting his reps on scout team and improving. His biggest improvement going to come in strength strength and conditioning in the offseason, the weight room. Obviously, Addison's 240 plus pounds, and Kale's about 210. So there's a difference there, and so we'll continue to move Kale forward. Addison is traveling with us. He's playing on special teams. And anytime you can get a role like that, and obviously we know that Sam Laporte is going to be graduating this year, so if we can get Addison caught up and hit the ground running, I think we'll be good in the future.
I'll go to Bill from the Columbus Dispatch. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, hi, Coach Hodge. About Luke Lachey. Obviously, you just been here. You just got here this year. What do you see as Luke's potential, and how far has he come in just the time you've had him?
I think Luke's best ball is ahead of him. He's getting better at a really fast pace. Obviously, having Sam in the room, Laporta as a friend, as a mentor, has really, really helped his development. And I think that's the key here. In any position group, when you have really good leadership from your seniors and your leaders, the guys up front, those guys are going to help pass a lot of that information down and give you really good pictures on how to do certain things, both in the pass game and in the run game. But just since I got here in March, Luke's a guy that, he doesn't flinch. Really, he makes a bad play or makes a good play. He gets back up, he gets back in the huddle, and he wants to get better. Obviously, he was raised well with his dad and his mom and his family. And the guy's a tough kid that continues to improve. He's improving in the run game, and he's improving in the pass game, and his best ball is ahead of him. Really look forward to him continuously developing and getting better.
Thank you.
Tom Kakert.
Hey, Abdul. Good to talk to you. Wondered if you talked to any of the guys this week about playing at Ohio State and kind of it's a unique place to play, unique game, and if you've given them any advice on what that's like as a player.
We talked to him a little bit about it. Obviously, Coach Ferentz is going to share his points, and having played up there in 2003, I kind of got a sense of what that environment is going to be like. Obviously, it's going to be 100,000 plus. Their fans are going to be behind them. It's going to be loud. It's going to be really intense. But when you really look at it, you got to kind of have tunnel vision. You kind of block all that stuff out. Good thing for us, we played on the road. We played on the road versus Illinois, a night game, and their stadium was pretty packed and loud as well. And then we went up to Rutgers, and they had the same thing. It was a night game, Scarlet out, and their stadium was packed and loud. So we've been on the road a couple of times. So those guys have executed and have done really well in that type of environment. So there's going to be that's another opportunity to go and play some good football against a really good team, regardless of the environment.
Nathan from Cleveland.com, go ahead.
Thanks, Abdul. I know that since you just got here in the spring, you weren't, I guess, involved in recruiting Luke Lachey, but I'm curious, you mentioned before just being raised well, the mom and dad, the family. What ways do you see that show up, and does he carry himself in a way that you know that he's been around college football in a different way than maybe some other players have?
Yeah, a lot of obviously, like you said, I wasn't part of the recruiting, but anytime you can recruit a kid who parents have played at the highest level, obviously his dad, played at a Power 5 school. He's played in the NFL for 10 plus years. He was a Pro Bowler, All-American. So coming from that background and living in that, growing up in that type of environment, you can kind of predict what type of kid he's going to be. Looking at the success from his parents and especially his father. So you can tell he understands the situation, he understands the level that he's on, but more importantly, he understands the details and the little things that it takes to get better. And that's putting your head down, not getting too far ahead, and just busting your butt in strength and conditioning in the weight room, and obviously just continuously get better. He's a raw kid that's, I'm glad he's in the room, and he's going to have a bright future. And I think his best ball is ahead of him. If he continues to work and we put great people around him and continue to push him forward and continue to demand that he gets better on a consistent basis, I think the sky's the limit for Luke Lachey. I think he's having he's getting better at a fast pace, and we just need to make sure that continues to go upward.
Kennington.
Coach, wanted to ask you about another new player in the room, Steve Stilianos. Just how would you characterize his transition into the program, and maybe what is your approach when you have a lot of new players into the room and some are just entering from high school, and you have somebody like him who's transferred and played a lot of college football?
No, great question. You kind of evaluate everyone and see where they're at. from a football perspective, mentally and physically. And then you try to plug them in where you can. Obviously, Steve is coming into a room, had some previous college experience. But what we do at Iowa is going to be a little different from where, technically we're going to, we may block a little different, system may be a little different. But there's some carryover, and I think that's the reason why he's continued to grow. We get him in on certain packages. So we'll have a black package that we have 3 tight ends on the field. So you'll see him more of a goal line package. And we'll try to plug him in on special teams where we see fit. But the good thing about it is we got really great guys in the room that provides, whether they're starting or not, they provide really good depth. And, given opportunity, I'm confident that he'll be ready to go.
Scott Docterman.
Yeah, get back to Luke a little bit. His athletic ability, he showcased like playing basketball in high school, 6'6", and being able to dunk with ease. That seems to have showed up there. When do you think that can translate to on the field? Is it really when he becomes fully technically sound that athletic ability can really showcase, or is he on his way to doing that right now?
Yeah, I think hopefully I can answer your question, but answer your question. I think it shows up all around. I think in our run scheme, running slants and inside zone and outside zone and getting on the perimeter, I think he does a great job of doing that, and his speed and athleticism puts him in position, to execute blocks. But also in the passing game, when you have a match, you get matched up against safeties and linebackers, it gives you an advantage, with that type of length, with that type of speed and athleticism, you don't see quite often. So obviously we take advantage of that. He's been able to get in the passing game and make some really good plays for us, and look forward to him continuously growing and developing and leading that room.
Dan Hope with 11 Warriors, go ahead.
Hi, Abdul. Just wanted to follow up on Luke. Have you seen any extra excitement from him this week as he gets ready to go back to Columbus and, play against his hometown school?
Have I seen any extra excitement? I'm pretty sure he's excited, to go back. But, just knowing Luke in my short time of being here in March is going to be a business trip for him. He knows where he's going. He understands that. He's aware of that. But more importantly, he know that we're a 3-3 ball club that's looking to get another win on the road in a tough environment. So he's doing all he can do right now to stay locked in and stay focused and not get distracted and just stay focused on the things that's going to lead to us, executing and getting a W and getting a win. And that's being exact on our details. That's being really good in the running game, and that's being really, detail oriented when it comes to running our routes and breaking routes and getting open and running with football.
All right, John Steppe, one more question.
Hey, Coach, what have you seen from Johnny Pascuzzi lately?
Scuzzi is good. All 3 of those guys that we talked about, Johnny Pascuzzi, Steve Stilianos, and Addison Ostringa, those guys are continuously getting better, whether you see them on the field or not. Those guys are learning. Those guys are growing. And those guys are going to provide us really great depth that we feel really great about, not only this year, but also in the future. And, given an opportunity that those guys get to get on the field and execute, feel really, really confident those guys will be able to hit the ground and get it done.
All right. Thank you, Abdul, for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.